Welcome to American Mogul. Today we will be discussing student debt and the solution, which is converting student debt into mortgage debt through affordable housing. Okay, now this is very complex, so I am not sugarcoating this. If you need to watch the video a couple times, then do it, but here's how it works, right? The student debt problem starts with education. Yeah. Why do people go to college and rack up 100,000, 200,000 in debt to come out into a workforce where technology is replacing people? Yeah. So ever shrinking employment base and ever increasing graduates. Yeah. Right now in the United States, we use the U.S. as an example. Unemployment amongst graduate students and current students about 60%. Yeah. Well, if you look at the student debt, which is like 1.8 trillion. Politicians like to talk and say, we are going to cancel that. That is not possible. Yeah. For example, the capital destruction that would occur if student debt was canceled would destroy the financial system. Yeah. Your student debt, which is guaranteed by the taxpayers, the government guarantees it. The government doesn't guarantee anything. The taxpayers are forced to pay it. Yeah. And what do you get from that? Nothing. 1.8 trillion it is forgiven would require tens and tens of trillions of dollars in the derivative markets to be destroyed. The financial system could handle that. However, for example, if the government, if they pay 1.8 trillion, what happens? That 1.8 trillion of debt disappears. That goes up in smoke. But those are the basis of tens of trillions of dollars of derivatives. It's a mortgage on your education as opposed to a mortgage on a house. So what do you do? So we have 1.8 trillion. We can either pay off the debt, destroy capital markets, and destroy the financial system, and the burden of that debt goes on to the taxpayer, or we can say, you know what? There's a thing called crown land, yeah. People call government land, but basically land that the sovereign nation owns. And if we were to take that $1.8 trillion and the nation owns the land, so it's really your land, and your neighbors and your families, it's all the people of the world and their sovereign nations own the land, right? So the government, it didn't cost them anything. They can donate the land and then take $1.8 trillion, which they spend more than that just to shore up the banks and big corporations, the aircraft industry, the airliners, everybody got a slice of that. More is 2.2 trillion. But let's get back on track. 1.8 trillion, if the government puts up the land, can build 30 million homes. In the entire market of the United States, and this applies to every nation, but the United States is 130 million residential homes. If the government forgives that debt, you think, oh, look, I don't have to pay student debt. But you're still in the same place you were before. You don't have a job. You don't have any way to get into the housing market, no way to build a family, build a future. However, you take that 1.8 trillion and you start building homes, massive projects. Yeah, it's very easy to build a city, urban and suburban. Yeah, and you think, okay, what does a city need, right? Well, it needs infrastructure, roads, bridges. It needs stoplights. It needs stop signs. It needs schools. It needs commercial and retail, and all these things in the construction phase of a 1.8 trillion project would create 20 million jobs. Yeah, think about it, right? When you build a city, yeah, City Hall is the center. All the people that work at City Hall to administrate for the community. Then you have schools, teachers, custodians. Then you have commercial real estate for businesses. You have retail, Walmarts. You have restaurants. You have like a McDonald's. You have Wendy's, Burger King. You have Tim Hortons, Starbucks. All these people create jobs, and these people support the community. When you create one job, you're not creating one job, you're creating 10. Because, for example, we will use a car manufacturer, yeah? It's given a certain free land to build an assembly plant, because all manufacturers of cars are assembly plants. All their components come in from outside, and all those companies that supply that also create jobs. Those people who create jobs need to get to and from work, yeah? So you got Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, you have delivery services, DoorDash, you have hotels which need to have managers, cleaning staff, those factories that grow in that area are going to need managers, supervisors, foremen. They're going to need workers. All these things, even Amazon builds a distribution warehouse. They're going to need managers, foremen, supervisors, warehouse workers. All feeds on itself. You build from that. You know? So you're thinking, okay, how does this work? Well, instead of making 1.8 trillion disappear, you put that 1.8 trillion to work. And you build affordable housing. The land is given by government to the people that own the land. You are a owner. If you are a citizen of the United States, you are an owner of that crown land. Right? Government land. The government doesn't own anything. It's the sovereign nation that owns it. So when housing is being built, you're not building mansions, you're building affordable homes. Yeah. So you go to the students and you say, instead of this money disappearing, we are going to convert this student debt into mortgage debt of the house we are going to supply you. Now, if you do this across the nation, some people are going to say, but I don't like the house. Who is going to say I don't like the house? I'd rather pay for a house than student debt. In a house, I can start a family. You can start a family. You can contribute to your neighborhood. You can find work. Student debt should not be forgiven. It should be converted into mortgage debt, which is owed to the government, right? Because think about it, come on. We are not children here. Who is going to pay their student debt? Yeah? Doctors, lawyers, but the rest of everybody else, engineers, the rest of everybody else is going to put it off till the day they die. Yeah? They are not going to pay it. That overhang on the nation is going to slowly wither away and expand. But if you take less than what government spends, 1.8 trillion, and you build, because you can build 50, 100, 200 cities easily with that kind of money. Yeah? And you give the right for the students, the future of the nation, the future of humanity, to convert that student debt into mortgage debt in a house. Yeah? You are going to create millions upon millions of jobs. Think about the labor required to build 30 million houses. In this case, we'll just say 20 million, yeah? 20 million houses. To build the infrastructure, the equipment you're going to need, Caterpillar for earth movers, yeah? Pavers, all these things that are, those, it's going to be a boom. They're going to have to hire people, right? Now, if you think, in my left hand, I have $1. In my right hand, I have $1. What is the difference? Well, one is your left hand and one is your right hand. Yeah? There is a difference what debt can do. Bad debt, yeah? Which is student loan. That is bad debt. Yeah, the education, but now online you can find whatever subject you are interested in. And that's part of the deflationary aspect of technology, which nobody seems to understand. It used to be 20 years was a technological cycle, yeah. Then it became 10, then 5, then 2. Now it's every year some new things coming, displacing everything. And with that displacement comes deflation. So if you want to create a society that is productive, you have to take and think differently. Student debt is bad debt. Mortgage debt is good debt. And now with interest rates so low, it's almost like money for nothing, yeah? And in fact, mortgage interest rates are lower than student debt. So you take that money, that $1.8 trillion, and you can build 30 million homes. You can add 25% to the housing market. You can add 15 to 20% in the labor market. You can create societies, you can create infrastructure to better the nation. Now, if you have trouble understanding the conversion of student debt to mortgage debt, understand that 1.8 trillion forgiven evaporates like that. Yeah. Couple keystrokes, it's gone. And then what do you have? Nothing. But if you take that 1.8 trillion and invest it into our youth, the future of our nation, building cities, building urban and suburban areas where affordable housing can be achieved, the government will get the interest from that money. Whereas if you leave it in student debt, you're going to get nothing. Nothing. Come on, we know. Change has to come from us. And future doesn't need us tomorrow, it needs us today. Okay, thank you.